Yeah, da 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 da. Okay, let me pop over the screen for you guys here.
Not how I wanted that to go.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Everything at the last minute today. I had a couple of things go on right at the very last. Taz had a couple of things happen right before we started.
I'm back.
Oh, you actually put a shirt on.
Yes, I put my shirt on.
Yeah, that was my plug to give you an opportunity to show it off.
So I know who I am.
Yeah.
I sometimes forget.
So, right off the bat, apologies for last week and a half. We missed some streams. I was just out of it. I'm going to use the hashtag not COVID. And I know for the people out there that are wondering about what the announcement is, you're not going to find out right away. We're just kind of rolling in. We're going to give a few people here and there an opportunity to show up.
Oh, look at those cute coffee cups.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, though, the 3DN one, I'm going to take the shadow off of the bottom of it. The graphics are really sweet. It looks exactly like the logos. I mean, all the colors are there. The gold chrome 3DN words they look just like chrome on the cup. I'm actually favored towards Skittles myself. That cat just looks so cool sitting on top of the logo. Oh, that was something else too. I know some of you people out there. Yeah, the last week and a half the last week and a half has just been shit. I thought I was going to have to go in for a little bit more than just a doctor's visit early in the week last week. I was like, oh God, if I'm going to show up at the office or have to go into urgent care or anything like that, if I don't have it, I'm going to expose myself. And it was really freaking me out. And fortunately, it just old stuff cropping up kind of took me out for the week and a half. I mean, I've still been doing my normal activities on the forums, the groups, and everything like that, and kind of trying to work in the background here. As you guys can see, I released the factory default firmware GUIs for everybody out there that was asking for them. I finally got those all put together, and a little teaser picture for the other colors that are coming. The other colors are all but finished. I just have to run through and test them and make sure that they're happy. So, and in the meantime, let me grab something. I'm going to be right back. Oh, hey, Taz, you printed up, I saw a picture that you did. You printed up a UV curing station or box.
Yeah.
For your, did you reprint the file that I fixed for you?
Not yet. No, never had a chance. I'm making the actual a stand for the printer itself because I had it on stanchions that you could print up, but I wanted one with the drawers and with the place to put the extra vat. That's what's printing now in this screen.
Hey, one man, how's it going? Welcome aboard.
So I'm printing the actual like a storage box for it to sit on top of. So it'll have two drawers and you can put two vats underneath.
Yeah, you might recognize the one on the the one on the one printer right there, the vented top of the UV curing box.
Okay, yeah.
That's the part I'm doing in the alien green. And
The top that holds the lens is what you're doing?
yeah, yeah, that's the part.
You know how that goes in, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm just asking because
I
people didn't realize it doesn't sit on top; it actually pushes up underneath. So
right.
don't wrap it before you put it in.
I looked at how he had the model assembled
Yeah.
in the original model. Yeah, thanks for the thoughts there, make it. Hey, if I could be or stay off of social media, I kind of wouldn't mind doing that myself, but it's kind of part of my job. The work I'm doing with artillery, yeah, and other business endeavors. So, well, just for kind of like a min max poll here and everything like that. I know we've only got just a handful of people watching right now. I'm gonna put up a poll on the Nexus website real soon. We're going to be expanding the shows. I mean, it's not just going to be a couple of shows a week. We're going to be expanding to probably 3 or maybe even 4 regular scheduled shows every week. I'm right in the middle of changing the studio here, doing some upgrades, actually giving it a full-time spot on its own. So we're going to be showing off and demonstrating, aside from things for the artillery printers, we're also going to be getting everybody into resin printing. One of the things I always do, in addition to things relating directly to 3D printing, is airbrushing, printed models and things like that. So it's kind of all tying together, but it isn't something that we can just do on one show. And I've been prompted by people in other places to start doing kind of like a JRE Clips series, which is I don't know how many of you guys watch Joe Rogan or anything like that, but he basically breaks a lot of his shows down for specific topics and things like that. We have these 4-hour streams sometimes, and 5 hours, and it's hard, for somebody that's just wanting some information on what we were talking about, just say like bed leveling or something like that. I'm going to be going back through all of the streams and breaking those videos down into clips that are titled, so people can go back over without having to sit down and watch the whole stream. Okay, I need to run off just for a minute here and do actually what I set out to do in just a minute here. I'll be right back. Oh, hey Taz, by the way, I got a hit for that. So don't show that again. Because you get my channel taken down, I'll get yours taken down. No, I'm dead. I actually got a little strike on that, and it's. I meant to mention that to you. No, dude, we're not even. See, that's what kills me. If you watch any of the streaming related shows or anything like that, there's the stuff that the chicks are getting away with. It's only the guys that get in trouble for doing it. The chicks are, they're doing their toenails, in their nighties and crap like that and everything like that, and trolling for subs. Yeah. So, but literally that one, you only did it, I think, once or twice on that other show. Right. And that was like right at the end. Well, the other day I was, trying not to die, and I was just going over the YouTube metrics and stuff like that. Twitch didn't say anything about it. Twitch could care less or whatever, but YouTube said that they, I need to edit that content out. And it wasn't actually a strike. It was kind of like a warning type of a thing. Well, it's like,
thanks for warning me before the show.
Well, hey man, okay, just so everybody knows, I was all set and ready to start streaming on time at 10 o'clock. And the 15 minutes, before the show starts and everything, that's when, we're doing sound checks and everything like that and video checks and all that other stuff. And, normally I have that 15 minutes or so to do that. Well, I had Taco Bell for the first time in literally months, and I gorged myself this morning on it, and I've been happy all day. Things have been going really well. And that, yes, in my nightie. and, yeah, one man wrecking crew, I know it's only balloon animals and stuff like that, but for some of the people with their undies in a bunch out there, and believe me, I'm popular on social media this week. I'm really popular on social media this week. People are going to bitch about anything, and I don't really care. It wasn't actually a strike, but if you get too many of those warnings and everything, then it turns into a real strike, and that's when it can start to present problems for your channel. It doesn't matter to me. I got 3 or 4 other channels I can convert shit over to, but it surprised me. I've seen, again, go onto YouTube and search. Now, okay, if you happen to be underage and watching, this channel isn't for you. There's already a disclaimer at the beginning of the channel. Right. But if you go onto YouTube and you just do a search for Brazilian wax, holy shit. And they got the nerve to slap me a little bit for a balloon. I happen to like that little snippet when it pops up. Okay, anyways, I'll be right back, or I'm never going to get it finished. I'll be right back.
Thanks. Glad you enjoy the videos. It makes me feel good. At least I know somebody likes them. I take the simple approach to things. Because sometimes overcomplicated just confuses you more. But I did a stream. What was it? The other day I did a stream and I was running SoundCloud in the background because I was doing Twitch and YouTube. And as soon as it posted on YouTube, my email exploded. My phone was going off. My computer's going off for all kinds of copyright hits. So I had to pull that whole video because I didn't realize that SoundCloud was playing. I did non-copyrighted music and stuff I really didn't even like, just for background noise, and I got dinged on that. So
Yeah, they're getting a little anal.
I mean, it was ridiculous how much. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It was like every 5 seconds I was getting an email until I pulled it. I was like, I don't need this. I really didn't want it up anyways because it wasn't really like that informative. It was just kind of chatting and testing things out, and how I don't have it connected right to Twitch with the chat. So, but what are you gonna do? Well, Earl inspired me with the PEI sheet, so that's where I'm going to take the credit. Who gets the credit on that one? Because I was a big more using the glass myself, but I do like the PEI sheet a lot better. And now we have fireworks for some reason. Okay.
Get this thing out of my face.
Yeah, you might get a YouTube hit for that. You never know.
Yeah, it is kind of phallic, isn't it?
Don't be putting that in your mouth, okay? I'm just saying.
Oh.
I mean, you do have your channel listed as adults only, right?
Yeah. You know, that's funny. I think doesn't Facebook still have that age 13 convention or something like that too?
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you're on the fence about pulling the trigger on it, just go ahead and pull it. And then if you use a 3D Nexus as the code for Gizmo Dorks, you get that 10% off.
Yep.
But if you want to go back, you can use the clips. But if you're looking to kind of level everything off, I'm going to say go with the actual sheet, the 3M sheet. Because they'll include the big 3M sheet to put down, and then you have the more or less like the shims you can use to level off your PEI sheet across your bed, which is nice. Which I showed in the video. So
Yeah, folks, don't get lazy and think that just using those strips to hold the whole sheet down as the only thing. You don't want to do that.
to pull right up.
No, I already had a guy contact me. He said, well, I didn't want to put that whole big piece on, so I just used the strips. And, you know, I kind of separated the strips into even. And he goes, now my bed's even worse than when I started. And it was just like...
Well, yeah, because you're not going to even out the sheet. That's why I did the video the way I did it.
Well, this guy hadn't seen that video. And, you know, it just didn't dawn on him that he was basically putting about 10,000ths of an inch strips underneath.
So now you're getting this.
Well, I walked him through.
I don't know why it's unlevel.
Oh,
Doesn't make any sense.
The good thing about it is it's a pain in the ass if you got to take that sheet off.
Yeah,
okay.
I was looking at that because I got a little corner on one. Before I did the video, I got stuck putting it down, and it got like a weird kink in it. And I was like spending like way too long trying to get part of it. Like, just forget it, and I straightened the rest of it out. But I can see that little kink in there. It doesn't affect the level at all. It's just I can see it.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, you know, to take this all off and fix that just because it bothers me visually, I think I'll pass.
The this guy, well, for anybody out there that decides they got to take theirs off, or if they get a new bed, you heat the bed up to about 90.
Right.
Okay, and you got to take that stuff off hot and have nothing like beard hair, long hair, pubic hair.
I mean, the stuff that gets in my videos all the time when I'm working on things?
Yeah.
Like
You
my
know,
last video, I got a comment on that.
you know,
They're like, you need to get your hair out of the camera. It's like, yeah, I'd like to, but
keep the dogs
I
out of
forget
the
it's long.
keep the dogs out, dogs and cats out of the room, whatever. You can use a scraper to start lifting it, and once you get it started, it's pretty easy. And then to clean that glue off, you just use acetone.
Yeah.
Commercial removers like Goo Gone or Goof Off, stuff like that works really good too.
Now, another thing you can use, which is not everyone even thinks about this one, because I used to remove graphics from cars. 3M makes a wheel that goes on your power tool, takes off anything adhesive, literally. Doesn't wreck paint.
Oh, is it kind of like a rubber eraser type gig?
Kinda. It's similar. It's got a different material to it, but you just put it on an end of your like drill or whatever and go across, and it takes it right off. Because I used to buy our old squad cars and refurbish them and sell them, and you got to get all the graphics off. I mean, they'll sell it to you with the graphics on, but you can't drive it anywhere. You're gonna get stopped. So I tried everything originally. I was over there, with the propane torch, heating it up, trying to get it to curl off without screwing the paint up, just touching it. Just making a big mess. Came across that stuff from 3M, and it just takes anything adhesive comes right off, and your paint looks fine. So if it's not going to burn up paint, it's not going to burn up a piece of glass.
Make It With Wood brought up the magnetic sheets. I'm pulling something up I kind of wanted to show off regarding that.
Here's my problem with that. I'm gonna put it out there. Now, the flex plate obviously flexes, number one. So you're going to create yourself a problem over time, especially if you decide to flex it. Then it has PEI on it that's so thin that it's pretty much useless.
Now, that's what I'm pulling up in the window for the guys, so I can kind of show them off here.
And I understand guys that do multiple prints and things like that. It's just like, you know what? Don't waste your time with this stuff. The $40 you save from buying a magnetic sheet is going to be, you can do a couple printers with PEI for that kind of money and never look back. You get them air bubbles in there, and now you have a worse problem than you had before with leveling your bed.
Yeah, I got it pulled up on the screen for them here. This is an article that I caught a lot of shit for earlier this week. Some of you guys might have seen it, or if you've been on the Nexus, you saw it. It's primarily, do you need to modify your printer? You can go back. It's on the Nexus. You can go in there and read it. But regarding those sheets...
Probably after the show, just saying.
Yeah. Regarding those sheets... And let me get this pulled up here. There we go. The one on the extreme left is kind of like one of the more common sheets, or the common types of sheets that are out there. And here you can see that there's and they all of those sheets have a very, very thin bit of PEI on them. And I explain in that article, as some of the stuff that Taz was mentioning, they flex.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, hey, Mike. Now, is it Mike C? Are you a variation of our regular Mike Hunt? I knew it was going to come out weird if I said that. And I show off a couple of these sheets here. The one on the left, like I said, is kind of more common. The next two are some of the textured varieties.
The build tech style?
No, it's just the second one.
Build tech to me. Why is it they telling me no?
Huh?
I said, it looks like build tech to me. Why are you telling me no?
Because it's not.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking. It looks like it.
Yeah, the second one is a Prusa magnetic sheet knockoff. Okay. That's the textured side of it. The third one is an actual Prusa sheet. that's textured, and the one on the right is a PEI sheet on a Prusa bed. It's the standard sheet that came stock on the MK2 series printers. And again, you can see how really thin it is. And the reason the stuff was so stable on the Prusa beds was because you never took the bed off of the printer. You were never flexing it. The guy that managed to damage that one all the way on the right, that's a rare circumstance right there, but it can happen. But you can see how thin that, and it's to illustrate and demonstrate how thin that stuff is. And what happens more on the left, and I've seen, I'm not going to say dozens and dozens, but I've seen handfuls of short-term cases like the first 3 images where either the stuff just starts to wear out, if you get prints that stick and you start, scraping them off and things like that, or if you're doing production and you're running the same prints all the time, that's where you'll actually start to get, like on the second picture right there, it could be, say you print boxes all the time, and over time, as you're lifting from the same area all the time, it weakens and it starts to come off. The one on the left, it's kind of hard to determine exactly what happened or how it happened. That could have been PET G, or I've even seen them actually crack and split just with a little bit of age. The Gizmo Dorks, the Gizmo Dorks is 1 millimeter.
I didn't want to interrupt you, so I typed it in chat.
Yeah, it's okay. See, I don't take offense when you step in over me voice-wise. You're the one that gets your undies in a bunch.
What?
When I interrupt you.
I don't get my undies in a bunch.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I've seen them nodded. I've seen them nodded. After the show and everything like that, when we take our clothes off and shit like that and offer up the sacrifice to the moon gods and stuff like that.
Don't be throwing me under the bus.
No, see?
I'm just saying, don't be throwing me under the bus. I say a lot of shit, doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah. Anyways, you can go down to the 0.5 millimeter. That stuff is okay, but my personal preference, I like the 1 millimeter, and Taz is using it now too. So that's somebody else in the little group right now.
I had the thinner one that I had just happenstance. I got with one of my printers from another printer, and that thing, for some reason, would get really wavy easy. I don't know why. I'm assuming because it was so thin, but it seemed like almost like the heat made it like curl a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get off of this.
I know it shouldn't because it's PEI, but it just seemed like it got unlevel. That's why I never used it. I almost want to say that, like, between the heat transfer from the bed, between the PEI sheet gets like air gaps or whatever from it being so thin. So I'd say you want 1 millimeter just to cover the heat expansion possibility.
So whatever 1 millimeter translates into,
I don't know, it's listed on their site as 1 millimeter, isn't it?
Pardon?
I said it's listed on their site as 1 millimeter thick.
Yeah, they have 1 millimeter, and he's asking, the actual thickness of it. Shit, why not? I'm already there. Hang on.
I don't know. I'm bad at metrics. I'm getting better at it with doing 3D printing, but
yes, 0.040. Technically, I mean, if you really, it's 0.0393701.
Talking about in the standard.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I always said I don't. The translating, forget it.
I had to.
I grew up when they just started playing that game where they're still teaching you standard, but then you had to learn some metric. And now my head's all screwed up. I did some carpentry back when I was high school, so I had to go back to standard. So that's pretty much what I know. And then doing this, I got to go back to metric, and it's like, how does that work? And ironically, I found out actually over in Europe they use standard in carpentry for some reason. One of the guys was telling me that they still use like we do here with 16 inches on center and the whole shot. They don't use metric. I'm like, really?
Well, Len, okay, I'm gonna warn you. And this is from somebody who was a die setter for many years, and my job was shimming shit all the time. With these big beds and the glue strips, it's going to be a little hit and miss because you're going to have to.
Well, not really, because I can explain exactly how I did it.
Well, what I'm trying to explain to him though is the PEI is going to change the dynamics of the. Some people they don't seem to get a massive flex in their bed until they heat it up.
Right.
Okay. The PEI is going to alter those dynamics. Okay. It's not going to the bed's not going to flex as much as it did originally. And case point, what I'm trying to point out is all of the different beds. I've got both the original glass beds. And I also have the new composites, which most of you guys have. The composites, I took measurements on with a dial gauge on all of them, and I checked them both hot and cold. And yes, there's an obvious difference between the two. And after I did it on one of the Geniuses, I just threw the PEI sheet on the Genius, and it leveled right out with just the glue.
Right. What I'm saying, what I did originally to see if I had any, I knew where I had my high and low spots originally on the bed anyways, because I had manually leveled it. So I knew where I had my problem areas. So I laid the PEI sheet down with a little bit of weight on each corner and then put it up to temp and double checked if it was off in the same spots. So if it's off in the same spots, you got an idea of how thick you want to go, because you can kind of tell. I mean, you could run a ruler across and see half the time when it's off visibly. You can run a light and see where the light's coming up. So the tape's only like like maybe 2 microns. That gives you an idea of where you want to go with it. That's what I did. I mapped out where on my bed would be where I'd want to add strips. And then I did kind of guesstimate more than do any real math. But I got it pretty flattened out initially before I laid down my sheet. I kind of skipped that in my video because I didn't want to show my method. It's how I cheat.
Yeah, it was Mouse. I don't know. I know you probably missed the last week and a half or whatever. Getting ready for the stream right away was a cluster fuck right at the get go. 15 minutes before the stream was up. So
we haven't announced anything yet. No, you're still in time. It's fine.
Oh, the actual announcement, the artillery announcement. No,
He hasn't released anything. We're still teasing my hair.
Yeah, we're still gonna be waiting a little while before
we're still playing.
So, let's see.
Trying to give everyone a chance to get on that didn't see it or what have you.
Well, this isn't going to be one of those crazy 5-hour streams either. So, mainly because I'm really anxious to get back to work too. Well, I'll say this much. I'll kind of build up to it a little bit. I can't give specifics, but artillery and me have been kind of working on a big promotion, which is going to involve not just one, but a handful of printers and a handful of winners, and some stuff like filament, maybe some other things. We're still kind of working out some details, and I'm still putting some stuff together for that. So, but it's not going to be your typical promotion that you're used to seeing out there. There's going to be a lot going on with it, and there's going to be some people probably liken it to a scavenger hunt. Doing a few things that's going to make it really fun, and it's all geared towards obvious promotion for artillery, as well as something for the users that are out there that have already been loyal customers. There's, everybody, there's something in it for everybody. Yeah, so. But as far as the actual details, I can tell you this much. It's gonna, and if you notice, I just jumped right into making the announcement.
Right?
It's like, why not? Well, it dawned on me, hey, if you missed it, all you late shits that are out there, not the ones that are here already, you guys are already after that, but the ones who haven't showed up yet, or didn't believe that I was really going to stream tonight because of my demonstrated lack of ability over the last week and a half. You can go back and watch the reposting of the stream and try to figure out where the announcement is going to be at in it. And I'll be posting a written breakdown of the announcement as well.
After we get through the 3-hour dissertation, we'll get to what it is.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a public speaker. What can I say? At least I don't have like the bigly, thing going on or anything like that. So I talk long, so it gives people a chance to get moist. There's that favorite word for everybody out there. We were laughing about that earlier today. How many people out there do you know, especially ladies, if you walk into a room full of ladies and everything like that, you just drop that, you can drop an F-bomb and get away with it. But if you drop the M word, you get some of the strangest looks coming out of them, and yeah. Oh, come on, Taz, you were a cop. Didn't anybody threaten you with moist?
No. It never came up, sorry.
You must have worked in a really relaxed precinct, Chicago.
Yeah. Really relaxed.
Yeah.
They called it Chirac for a reason.
Yeah. Ooh, I better check that printer. I'll be right back.
I wasn't double vesting for fun.
Did you have your cup handy, Dad? Did you have your Taz cup handy? Taz, did you have your Taz cup handy?
No, it's actually in the wash. Sorry. Turned out nice, though. Sorry, answering a question for somebody. My bad. Where were we? We're still teasing you guys. Sorry. I try to keep him on point, but he just wanders. All on his own. I don't start his wandering.
No, I had a weird shadow on the printer on the left right there. It made me wonder if it was lifting up or something.
Ah,
You can kind of see how the shadow is kind of moving back and forth on it, and I caught it at the wrong time on my end here, and it's just like, I'm just gonna check it anyways.
yeah. Like sometimes the camera doesn't give you a real indication of what's going on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get this out of my face here. There we go. Yeah, make it after you swap over to that screw-in thermistor. You're gonna kind of wonder why you didn't do it before. Roxas, it's funny. The printer on the right in the lab cam there. I actually finally, after a year, that is number 1 or number 2, so that's like May or the first week of June last year. I finally had to change the PTFE tube in that printer, and that was one of the things I was working on before the stream. I didn't have to. I put the new PTFE tube in, and it's working fine. I just didn't get a chance to set a print up on it, that's all. I will say this much, I swapped it out for Capricorn tube, and man, that was a pain in the ass to get in there.
Why?
Because it wanted to be.
It's a smaller outer diameter, so I'm trying to figure out why it'd be a pain in the ass.
No, actually, the diameter of the Capricorn tubing that I got was just a smidgen thicker than the tube that was in this machine.
Is that real Capricorn now?
Yeah.
I
I wouldn't buy any. If I'm going to buy blue shit, it's going to be the real blue shit. Which actually, I've seen the fake stuff, and there ain't a whole hell of a lot of difference, folks. Yeah. Taz, you got like really big lice, dude.
Yep. This is Binks, my daughter's new kitten,
Hey, Binks.
who tries to attack my hair now.
Well,
It's fun.
Roxas, I've changed PTFE tubes on newer versions, and who knows? The hole might be slightly off on some of the ones. They do powder coat them. Mine might actually have a little bit of a heavier, a thicker powder coating on it. Who knows? What I did to deal with that was I heated the blocks up and worked it in while it was still hot, and that seemed to help it go in a lot better. Len, no, you can use the stock tube with PETG. Those printers and the other handful of printers that are almost a year old, and these are Sidewinders and now the Geniuses. I don't do PETG all the time, but I've printed PETG dozens and dozens of times, and like I said, for the very first time on the machines here, I have finally had to, after a year, swap out the PTFE tube.
Well, I had one seriously degrade. I mean, it was a longer print, don't get me wrong, but it just kind of like melted the tip of it, and I started getting like clogging issues right away.
Well, I'll point out too, the PETG, I only use one brand of PETG. I never deviate from it. I use eSun, and I get away with printing that stuff at like 228 to 230.
Yeah, see that I've been using The hell I've been using? My brain just went south.
Some of these, some of these other guys out there, I've seen you guys printing Pet G at like 235, and even a couple that were.
Oh, my overture I do at 240.
Yeah, so there's 10 degrees can make all the difference in the world, you know, for
Right.
because that 240 is right at the, what's the term they're using for that?
The glass
Or
factor.
the degradation stage where it's going to start degrading.
I mean, I usually run mine at 240, 80C on the bed, 30% cooling, and then I do my 1.5 at 25 millimeters a second for retraction. That's how I roll my PETG. And it's always come out nice.
Yeah, the Pierre, my first Pet G that I used, I was really hesitant because this was back in the Prusa MK2 days, back when they first released. I wanted to reprint some of the parts for the printer, you know, itself in Pet G. Hey, Sergeant Taz Cup. Oh, let me get my mouse off your face. Sorry about that.
That's where it's usually at. It's okay.
Yeah. The eSun that I got in, I did a print and it stuck to the bed. And I just like an earlier image that I showed of ripping up the PEI, I was so afraid of that happening and everything like that. And I really played with it. And not relational to it sticking to the bed. I mean, I learned my lesson early on about, you know, prepping your bed properly, you know, for the Pet G. But the temperature, I got the best results at right at 230. And I've never changed it. I've never had to. And I've done rolls and rolls and rolls of it, you know, over the years with both the Prusas and all of the other brands of printers and everything like that. And that's always been my starting point. I think the hottest I've ever had to print it at, and that was more probably or possibly because of ambient temperatures I was working with, was about 232, 235, you know, at most. So...
Yeah, like I said, I like to run mine at 240s. I like it seems to be ride much smoother. I don't get any weird artifacts or anything like that. And I don't get like when I run around like 230, 235 with it for some reason, I'll get like weird striations in the print sometimes.
Well, yeah.
Or I'll get it wrapping up around the nozzle if it's like around there for some reason, and then it's like I'm fighting stuff getting attached to the side of the heat block that later on comes down on your print. So that's why I run a 240 myself.
Yeah, or if you do print too low. I mean, when I was testing early on, if you print too low, you'll lose layer adhesion too.
Right. It's going to be the animal show tonight.
Yeah.
Anyway. Because this new kitten's a really interesting character. And here he comes again.
Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Hi, UniQ. For all the people out there who haven't spoken up or said hello, welcome to the stream. I will remake the artillery announcement here in probably about another 5 or 10 minutes.
Did you make the announcement?
Well, I kind of worked into it. I just started talking about it, turned into a...
You were talking about the announcement. You never said what the announcement was.
Well, I pretty much gave all of the information that I'm able to give right this minute.
Oh. Okay.
See, now we're gonna talk for 5 minutes about talking about it and not actually give any information. There, I'll put the monkey up for the cat.
What's up, John?
Yeah, if you're new to the channel, new to the stream, if you would be so kind, like, follow, subscribe if you want. It's not necessary, but it's always appreciated. You get a chance to see a little Three Stooges pop up if you do. It helps the channel for what is that term they're using on YouTube?
Monetization?
No, I'm not. I'm not monetizing the channels.
That's the term they all use, is all I'm saying.
No, it's shit.
For algorithm.
For showing up in your, hey, check this out.
Yeah, it's for the algorithm, so you actually show up on the actual recommended viewing.
Yeah, didn't Al Gore invent that?
Sure.
John was actually, algorithm. God,
I don't consider the BMG an upgrade.
And honestly, aside from maybe the internals of the Titan Arrow, I don't see a benefit to that one either. Now, the Humera, I can't comment on because I haven't used it. I just don't think it's refined enough yet that it's that great of an upgrade either. But that's just my personal opinion.
The thing,
the BMG, I want to say honestly, that's going backwards in technology. At least in my opinion. You're going to get guys that say it does great, and it might work for them, don't get me wrong, but I still think you're going backwards.
The thing with the Humera, if you're going to consider it, it's even a downgrade in the respect of the extruder that it comes with stock. You're putting a standard E3D V6 on it, right, if you go with stock. The nice thing about the Humera is you can swap out to use the Volcano hot end.
But no one makes a decent mount for it that puts it in the right spot.
Yeah.
So now you're losing height on your 400 printer.
How much height do we lose?
What, about 10 millimeters?
I thought people were saying it's like 5 or 7 or something.
I want to say it's like 10 millimeters if you look at the way it's mounted with the mounts.
Okay, you know how much that is?
It's not significant enough for most people. I'm just saying that's another drawback, is like you're just reducing your space. And then you're using pretty much a Creality style hot end. That's how I look at it. I mean, I got the Volcano so I could put some filament down. You're not losing 25 millimeters. No, not that much, but...
Well, it depends on the mount. You know,
yeah, it gets you a point. But
who knows? Some of the freaks out there that are making mounts, everybody,
I have put one on a machine, and I'm not impressed with it. I find another thing about it is trying to get the filament loaded and unloaded. Now you're definitely stuck with having to use your menu screen to get it to work. So manual pulls and stuff is not going to work well on that machine at all with the Humera.
Well, Artillery has said that they've taken into consideration a lot of the feedback. They know that the extruder is the weakest part of this design. They know it.
But it's not that weak. I don't see the big weakness in it. I'm missing what the big weakness is.
Considering the touchiness of the filament, the tension. That can, on a bad day, that can even give me...
Okay, I could see where that's at with the tension knob being a pain. Other than that...
Well, I didn't say it was,
Well, no,
hey.
I hear it all the time from these guys that are having trouble printing, that the first thing they want to do is go to a BMG or a Humera, and it's only because they think that's going to make their prints magically be better all of a sudden, and it's not the case.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's where I'm at. I'm not trying to. I'm the first guy to mod something. We all know this.
The other thing is the heat break itself is fine, but the block that everything is mounted in and everything like that, the cooling is not adequate. that extruder fan on the side of the extruder for cooling off that area has to work a lot harder than it should have to.
So let's see. A lot of questions today. So the Titan clone, okay. Even with it's really close to the Titan already. I mean, there's not that much. You can actually take most of the parts and put it into this machine, except for the heat sink. That's about it. Other than that, if you wanted to put all original Titan parts in it, it would work fine. You don't need to. I mean, the only problem they had was a while back with the tension levers, and that's because of a manufacturer supplier defect, not because of the defect in the actual extruder itself.
And Artillery has said that they were planning on changing over to a metal arm. When they're looking to roll that out, I can't tell you, but I would expect it to be before too long.
But for $5 or $6, you could do that yourself if you're that concerned over it. I barely touch that lever for anything. Even loading and unloading, I barely touch that lever. There's no major need to do that. Not to mention, a better way of pushing it is not to push it on the actual thumb portion of the lever. It's actually to push it on the block where your Bowden tube is sitting. The PTFE tube that's sticking out just in front of that. Push the lever there. Now you're taking the stress off the whole system. Trying to keep up your questions here. Now the PETG or ABS. PETG you can still possibly do normally with the basic hot end, the stock hot end, but you're talking heat break. You're not talking the whole setup.
Yeah.
ABS, I'd say no, because of the lower PTFE tube is right at that transition period of melting or getting clogged and messing up the internals on that stock hot end.
I've done a few ABS prints on stock, and they seem to be fine. But I wouldn't.
If you're in a long period of time, you can.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust it over a greater period of time. If you just need to do one part, I'd say you'd be all right. Just be really careful with it.
But I wouldn't run it continuously.
No.
And I mean, realistically, you could spend maybe $15.
Yeah.
And run PETG and ABS all day long, and it's just changing out the heat break. That's all you got to change out. Other than that, everything else you can leave stock. Like I said, I think the extruder works perfectly fine. I think that people think things should work a certain way, and then they start looking for the magic bullet to fix everything, which is changing out everything that's pretty much stock in the printer, and that doesn't fix everything.
Yeah,
it usually creates a bigger problem because now you have multiple things going on that you can't assess what went wrong now. Now you're stuck. You already had a problem. Now you're introduced to an additional problem, and now there's a hard way to figure out what the problem was.
Yeah, Pierre, the gear is curved, at least on all of the ones I'm used to playing with here. I haven't really looked that close. I know 1, 2, 3, 4. I just got a new V4 in. Hang on, let me check. I want to make sure I'm not lying that they didn't change them.
Yeah, you never know with that one. But I mean, a lot of people forget about it being a direct drive system and try and operate it like they did with their Bowden printers. So people that have prior experience don't understand that on a Bowden system, you're going to have high retraction because it's going through a tube coming to your hot end. So you need a lot of retraction. On our setup with the Titan extruder, it's a direct drive. So you want to reduce your retraction as much as you can for a better result, because it's so close to it's so close to going, into your system that you don't want to have a lot of retraction, because you're going to get the clogging, the filament jams kind of stuff, because it's pulling it out too far. Yours is curved, about a month old. Okay. Like I said, I don't see the point in changing out the extruder on it. It's a matter of, if you want to for a particular reason, like the guys that are doing with the Himeras are wanting to run like constant TPU at a high speed. Yeah, probably the Himera will be an option for you. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be a little easier for that to flow properly. But you still could do it on the basic one. I mean, you don't really need to make a major adjustment.
Yeah, I can confirm they are all curved. Although the Geniuses, even though they look like they're supposed to be the same parts, same gears, the Geniuses look a little straighter. If there's a way to, it could be an optical delusion too, because well, the Geniuses I've gotten a different spot, and the lighting's not as good over there right now. But yeah, they're all curved. They're not straight.
Like I said, anything from the Titan family is going to fit in there, except for the actual case itself, which you have to understand. So these guys that want to order the all-metal case instead of having the plastic housing, which I understand, it's not going to fit right because it isn't drilled out the same. What's up, Cornfed?
Hey, Cornfed, how's it going? Just real quick, since Taz did his earlier.
I think mine looks better. I'm just saying.
Nah, mine rocks.
Nope.
I am going to, like I said though, I am going to remove the. I'm going to remove the shadow on the bottom of the logo. Well, I'm not going to show you guys the 3DN Fen G-strings.
They do have an option for panties. I seen someone had one on there. I don't know if my wife would go for that or not, though.
What, you wearing them or her wearing them?
Either or. I'm man enough to admit that shit.
We'll have to have a Borat Speedo competition. We can really bump the subscribership up that way.
Cool. You actually got it connected to the Reddit. That's awesome. Yes, Cornfed is in charge of the Genius Reddit now for artillery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think he's taken over the original artillery run that had no activity on it, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think he's still trying to.
The Mr. Chris, I did announce some of the stuff a little while ago.
You don't have it? Okay.
I'm getting ready to in probably about another 5 minutes. I gotta bail for a nature call real quick, and then I'll get back and I can give you the Taco Bell details, if you want, but
you can watch the repeat later. We don't need it. We're good.
Yeah. Earl,
you can watch the first half of the video. We'll
yeah.
be okay with it.
Yeah.
I get guys that are CNC operators using the feeler gauges, and I get it. But a feeler gauge isn't the same thing as using.
Hello. Hello.
You're not getting the same, like the feeling off of your hands of that level. It's hard to explain, but I always tell people when they're trying to level, what you want it to feel like is like you're rolling a grain of sand on the piece of paper on that nozzle. That's how you know you're right where you want to be with leveling. That's the best way I can explain it. Is like you're trying to roll a piece of sand underneath it without it falling off. So that's how you get that feel for it. With a feeler gauge, you have that metal that's in the way now, and now it's like, well, you don't get that feel. So you obviously don't want it sitting flat on the feeler gauge, because you're not going to get the layer you want. You're going to get it's going to be more squished than you want that way. So using the paper is a better option, in my opinion. There are guys that can do it with a feeler gauge, but I didn't do CNC, but I don't know. I never had I've had feeler gauges for all kinds of other stuff. So, and I know I don't get that I'm trying to think what the word is for it. The feedback that I get from a sheet of paper where I can tell. Because the feeler gauge just, obviously it's metal. You're not getting that interpretation back through the gauge. You're just getting a measurement. Right? You're just going to glide on it, so you're not going to feel that, like, where it's grabbing. And I want to get to you, because I tried the other ways back when I started printing, and I tried the feeler gauges. I tried the cardstock. I just couldn't get the same leveling I wanted. I just use a small sheet of paper. Don't use a full sheet. That screws it up. People don't understand. I use like a half sheet of paper, so I'll take something like this, half sheet, so I can run it, and then I'm rolling it around. And like I said, it's like I'm trying to find that piece of sand on there, just on the tip of the nozzle, nowhere else. I don't want anywhere on the outside to feel like it's catching. So I just want my nozzle to feel like it's just grabbing that piece of paper. Like there's a piece of sand on there, I'm rolling around right around the nozzle is the best way I can get it. Yeah, it takes a bit, and developing the feel for it was how I did it was I'd run the bed level squares, and I'd watch. After I had just did a leveling, I'd run that really quick because it's a quick print, and see where I was getting my layer lines and what they were looking like. And I started getting into where I could actually feel that. And that's how I came up with the idea. What it felt like to me was like I was rolling a grain of sand around just enough. Because if you go down too close, now you got it like where it's like backing up in the nozzle and just causing you issues. PLA supports 180 to 230C. Okay, PLA I normally run myself around 205C. Almost all my brands I run around 205. Keep in mind, I run a little bit hotter because if I'm using my enders, I'm usually running around 200. But that's a Bowden style system, and it's not a Volcano. Volcano likes to have heat. You got to keep that in mind too. A lot of guys want to put down to where they were doing it with the Creality machines or what have you. That's the example I got. And the lower temperatures are fine with those because of the way it operates. The Volcano likes to be fed. So you want to keep your speed up. So over 50, in my opinion, right out of the box. Don't even run it below 50 on your speed. Millimeters a second, by the way. Sorry. Anywhere from 60 on up is where I'd say you'd run that because of the way the nozzle is. And you want to run maybe 5C higher than you would normally run your filament on any other printer, because that Volcano wants to have heat to run it through good.
Yeah, Pierre, I've been shopping around. I got a open builds style 24 by 24 CNC. That's I can do probably up to 3/8 aluminum on it. But I've been shopping around for something closer to 48 by 48.
Out of the box, I didn't do any upgrades. I spent about a good 3-4 months completely stock. The only thing I printed up, and I did the video, I did the printed upgrades. So I did the covers, you know, the things that make it nice. I didn't mess with most of the stuff because you're not really sure where you want to upgrade with it. It isn't like you had like another machine that you went to, and I have two now, so I know where I wanted to go with my second one. I know what I wanted to do. When I first started out with the new machine, I don't upgrade it right away. Even if someone suggests I upgrade it right away, I don't. And I'm the king of upgrades. Both of my artilleries are completely upgraded. Just to keep that in reference. Not dissuading you from doing it, but honestly, until you learn the nuances of it and figure out why you're having issues at times, some people don't understand. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just the printer itself. It's not just the mechanics. It's your filament. It's your slicer. It's your slicer settings. It's your temperatures. You got to try and get that in your mind first and try and get as close as you can to get where you like it and understand how it works before you start playing around with, I'm going to upgrade this, I'm going to do that. So I'd say probably if you're having trouble with your bed in any way, shape, or form, I'd upgrade to the PEI sheet. That'd be my upgrade.
Yeah, I posted a kind of a lengthy article specifically about that subject on the Nexus earlier this week. Caught a bunch of shit, as I expected anyways. All the prints right there, I've shown off on previous streams and things like that, some of the high detailed prints. The quality is there. Everything that you're looking at, all of these printers that I've got here, the only upgrades, if you want to really call them upgrades, have been the bed material, which is the PEI sheet that we're always talking about. And now you can see in a couple of the images, I've even got the stock fan on some of those earlier images. Now I've just got the 5015 fan mod on there, and that's been it. Everything, you know, that you're looking at there. Good example is the blue.
And I resisted doing a 5015 fan for a long time. I just did it.
Case point.
I resisted it up until I tried to bridge something really far that I needed to get bridged. And my side one didn't work as well as I thought it did. So
Yeah, the 5015 that we've discussed previously too, I've got that file up on the Nexus too, and it's also in an article on the Nexus. The little punchy dogs, whatever the hell you want to call those things, I prefer those guys over benchies.
That's a better test.
The black one on the left was kicked out. The printer was printing, that's 020, at about 100. And literally that, I'm not talking 100 and, you know, the perimeters are going down to 50 or anything like that. I think the perimeters on that thing were kicking up to like the 65, 70 range. And that's a reasonable print right there. All stock, but it was printed at really high speed. The blue one and the copper one just to the right of that are kind of at the normal speeds that I run, which is like right around 60. And again, they're all stock, and those are all 020 layer heights. Now, mod-wise, like I said, there's a hefty amount of reading with regards to this article, but I beg anybody to just take the time and go over it and take some of the stuff into consideration. There's some nasty language in it, you know. I'll warn some of you guys, and there's also some heat directed towards nobody in particular, even though, you know the saying, you know, if you think it's about you, you know, if I post something on my web page or something on my Facebook page, you know, there's always going to be a percentage of people that think you're talking about them, and that's not the case. I stayed pretty general.
That's the case. Don't lie.
Bullshit. I stayed pretty general with this, but I'm not saying don't mod either. I've got modded printers here. I've got a couple that I modded right out of the box.
I just don't tell people starting out with their first printer modding. It's not a good idea.
Well, I was going to say the reason why I was comfortable with doing that was taking the printers out of the box. I knew right away what I was going to have to change. I knew if I set the printer up stock, and these aren't Sidewinders, by the way. This is another brand. These are some TiVos. I got those, and right away I was like, okay, I'm tearing this shit up before I even put it to use, and I'm glad I did. So one of the second ones, the glass bed cracked on it the second time I printed with it. But anyways, yeah, I go over the whole list of the basic mods, and I kind of cover some of the more common ones that people are told by other people that oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. No. Everything, and I've got hundreds of other pictures, and I'm going to be putting them up in an album because I'm really getting tired of people trying to call me out on, well, show your I never see any images from you, and it's like they're all on my site. Go to my fucking site. I don't monetize my site except for some of the Amazon links that are on there or anything like that. And if you really want to get technical with that, Amazon rolled that monetization thing so far back and everything like that. I think since I started putting some of those links in and everything like that a few months ago, I think I've gotten enough to buy a 1 pound can of coffee. So big fucking deal, and a middle finger out to the ones that are going there with that. So yep, I'm getting ready to make it out of wood. I'm not going to keep you guys going here. We were just trying to answer some of the questions. I'm just looking all over. Oh, Just Grumpy, did you get my message about the fan? Dude, and I'll let the users in on this too. Let me get us back to our screen here. Okay, I sent Grumpy out his package, and I got it back from the post. See, I don't go to the post office every day, just because of the lockdown thing and everything. But I went back to the post office, and the package came back damaged. Okay, so it's like, oh shit. I brought it back, got a new box, and I checked everything, put everything together, and I set the fan aside. And just for the hell of it, I was like, oh, God, I can't remember if I swapped the polarity on the fan or not. So I picked it up and I took it with me. And I brought it back over into the work area there to actually check it against all the other ones that I've got done already. And I set it down. Had a phone call. Had a million other things crop up and everything like that. And then later in the day, I looked at the package and I just packaged it all up. Put the label on it, and the following day got it off to the post office and sent it out. And that's when I probably got knocked down for 2 or 3 days. I did nothing but sleep, and that's why we missed a couple of the streams. And I just happened to be walking through the shop area with my coffee, and I seen that fan sitting there on the bench, and I was like, shit. So, anyways, I sent him the fan duct and everything like that, less the fan. And so I ended up having to drop the fan out, after the fact. It sounds like you went ahead and got one anyways. So you're
always good to have spares anyway.
Yeah, you're going to have a spare coming pretty soon whenever the post office gets off their ass. Awesome. I'm glad you're up with it. I was hoping you weren't going to be having to sit on it for any great length of time.
Yeah, I printed my ducks in resin.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the new rage. It's like, you print yours on an FDM printer still?
Yeah, right? It turned out beautiful, and the blue turned out awesome. I did the one in gray first, just to see how it would do. And then when I got that clear blue, it almost looks like the anodizing, which is really nice.
Yeah, we're gonna be showing off some fun mods that you can do, and
I actually posted it on user images show off,
oh,
just so you know.
yeah, let me pull it up then.
That's not the full one because I can't seem to find it at the moment, but because I did everything in resin. I bought a resin printer. I might as well use resin.
Holy crap! People have been uploading shit, man.
Yeah, I know you don't pay attention to it. I do.
Well, artillery told me they were going to get me an intern, so get an intern here.
They're gonna send you Tracy?
That'd be awesome. I'm working on that.
Not the Tracy here, the other Tracy.
Let's see here. There we go.
Yeah, I use the ABS like for my ones, and it turned out nice. And I did a weight calculation on them, and it's like I want to say maybe 0.3 ounces more, 0.3. So the ABS fan came out to 1.1 grams. My resin came out to 1.4 grams. But yeah, I liked how it turned out with a really cool color. And that's my older picture, though. I don't know where I sent you the new one, but I have to find it because I don't think I saved it. I don't think I saved it for myself. I think I just sent it to you.
Oh man, check that out, Tracy. That's cool,
isn't it? The ukulele turned out nice.
If you get a chance to do a little quickie video of how the thing sounds, is that file available on Thingiverse or something? That's like really whipping, man. I'm thinking instead of using Discord for the galleries and stuff like that, I'm gonna just set up a gallery system on the website, so it'll be a lot easier for people to upload stuff, and we'll be able to full screen some of this stuff too. Because I mean, I'm looking at it on a much bigger screen over here, and it is sweet looking, and
it's cool looking. I like it.
What else we got here? Grumpy, is that you? Grumpy, is that your image? I think you were the one that was. Yeah. Another leather worker, buddy. Now, that's the bigger part of what I did for most of my career was I managed for the leather factory and Tandy Leather Company. I was in executive middle management for them for close to 20 years, amongst all the other things. But yep, no more needing to buy all of the overpriced leather stamps that are out there. You can make your own. And who put this stuff up? Merc. Okay, yeah, that's what I was dealing with earlier last week. That's what my fucking lungs felt like. Or that's what my lungs made me feel like. Wow, man. I can't wait till we have our model specific. And for you, for everybody out there that's into the modeling and stuff like that, we're going to be having a lot of the well-known 3D modeling artists coming in and hanging out on the show. I know a handful of them myself, and I've invited them onto the show. They're all for it. We're just working out schedules and things like that. We're going to have some very specific streams regarding that, so people can get into that stuff too. What else we got here? This is corn-fed. Uh-oh. Oh, come on, man.
It's a dick in a box.
That's really cool. Okay, so hey, you can actually do video on there.
Yeah. It depends. It has to be really small, or else it says your files are too powerful.
Oh,
It doesn't like large files.
who is this here? Yeah, another one of my Elon Musk enthusiasts.
Take
No.
care, Pierre. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, Pierre, thanks for showing up.
Sorry you didn't get the announcement.
I thought he was here for that. Speaking of which, okay, since somebody just kicked me in the ass with it. Okay, the artillery announcement. We have been putting together a nicer than what you're used to seeing promotion, giveaway, whatever you want to call it, for not just one, I'm not going to give you the exact numbers, but a handful of printers, both the Sidewinders and the Geniuses, as well as some filament. Everybody's going to be able to participate, and there's also going to be some other nifty things thrown in there, as well as it's
More
going
to
to
the
be
story, but free printer.
yeah, for the most part. I mean, that's a
Not
hobo.
just one.
That's a hobo way of saying it.
Right. But I'm just saying, not just one free printer. But
Yeah.
free printers.
Well, I'll say this much: once I work up some of the rest of the details and we finalize a few things, you're gonna shit your pants. And it's not going to be your normal competition that they have out there, or your normal process. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff that you guys are going to be able to do for racking up chances. So it's not going to cost you guys anything to do or anything like that, just a little bit of time. We're expecting to launch it within the next few days. So I'll be posting some announcement on social media. And probably for the Monday stream, we should be back on schedule. I'll hopefully have the rest of the information to give you guys, and we might even... What day is Monday? What's the date? If anybody's got a calendar handy. I don't have one in this part of the office here.
It's the 29th.
Yeah, but what day is Monday?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. If all goes according to what we're planning, we should be able to announce it on the 1st, which will also mean that I'll also be doing a stream on it. So oh, hey, the bot actually nuked him saying that?
Yep, I took care of it.
Yeah, good. You leave that in there, you fuck bot.
Well, the bot caught it, so I released it.
I'll have to slap our bot around a little bit, because that's like, well,
I do more than just take girls' abuse. See?
yeah. So the plan has been to launch this promotion on the 1st. We're finishing up a few of the details and things like that, the legalities and just all sorts of the stuff that has to go on in the background. But that's it. It's, again, not going to be your conventional giveaway that you're used to.
It's not going to be your boring, lame-ass giveaway that everyone hypes up, and then you get, like, a pen.
One guy that gets one printer.
Right. Or like I said, like you get some, oh yay, I got a sticker.
But you guys are going to have to work for it a little bit. It's not going to just be something, just like some of the other systems that are out there. The more you participate, the more chances you're going to get. So Yeah, and it's going to run for a little while. It's probably going to run for almost a month. I'm pushing.
Obviously, I'm not involved in it. I can't win, so
Actually,
none of that BS either. I don't want to win it.
Actually,
It's for the viewers.
yeah, actually, you can. Okay, technically, I can't. Okay, but
Well, I already said right here and now when I put it on video.
Well, I'm just pointing
I
out
don't want to
on
win
video.
it, and I'm not going to win it because if it's going to go to somebody else.
I'm just pointing out that if he won, okay, we'd have to reset it and pick somebody else just because we don't want to give him any free shit.
Oh wow, that's just cold-hearted, bro.
No, there's like I said, if by some chance,
I just don't want anybody thinking, I've had that happen to me where we've ran giveaways and I donated money just because I was donated the money.
Yep.
And I won and everyone gets mad at me. It's like, no, I didn't want to win it. I was just putting money into the pot.
Exactly. And if by some, for the way luck has it and everything like that,
except for the iPad one that we did with my old club.
Yeah.
I wanted the iPad, so
I took that one.
If by chance he was to win, I mean, there'd be so many, you guys know that there'd be so many people out there screaming, whatever. So
I get enough hate on my own. I don't need help.
Yeah. And I've already been way too popular over the last week and a half. I don't need any more heat either. So, yeah. Hey, yeah.
And just by the way, Ed can't win either. Just so everyone's aware.
Yep. Oh, we already
associated with 3D Nexus can't win.
Yeah, we already we already had that discussion earlier today. I kind of just like nope. Anybody affiliated with 3D Nexus and artillery cannot be involved with it. So, and that includes our shows. So
I screwed myself. See what I do for you guys.
I've been meaning to bring something up. Okay, this last week, it has been hot as hell here in eastern Pennsylvania, humid as hell. And it went from, this late spring stuff that we had going on and everything like that. And man, all of a sudden, double, triple pants shit. Yeah. So what's the weather like where everybody else is at? My wife's in Hawaii. Hawaii weather's kind of constant. It's always hot. It's always humid. And if it's not too hot, it's raining, but it's still humid.
We've been humid as hell here. It's been so much that it has affected my printing too. So.
Holy shit, Grump.
But he doesn't get humidity though. It's a dry heat. Still hot as fuck, but dry heat. I mean, they get great humidity. I mean, honestly, you don't need a dry box or anything in Arizona.
35 to 37 C in Portugal. What's the translation, all of you masters out there? We're in the States here, we're Fahrenheit, and it's bad enough that we work with Celsius on our printers. Yeah, okay, so it's not just us.
So I want to say, what, 35 to 37 is like hot 90s, 100? I think.
Well, isn't 32 actual 0 in C? Fuck.
I don't remember. Like I said, I did horribly in metrics.
Same here. And the only reason I went over to metrics for threads and measurement and everything like that was being in machining for those years when I was in my factory days, and even then. Double and add 30. 60. Yeah, that's close to 100.
I'm just going to
then.
ask him to convert for me because it's so much easier.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? Everybody, all you people out there got Google at your fingertips, and you'd rather me do this, and then you'd actually hear a bunch of bumping around and shit. Bump, 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 bump. Oh, that's
35 is 98. See, that's close. Like 90, 100, right around there.
yeah.
It's like me trying to like. I don't like when they do the kilometers per hour versus miles per hour either. It bothers me. It throws my mind off for some reason.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
What's up, Mike?
And just to recap real quick before I go get my coffee refresher here, the announcement, Mike, and since it's already been hoboized, it's hoboized. Hoboed.
No, I made it fucking simple.
Yeah.
Let's get it straight. I made it so everybody would understand what it was.
Basically, we're working up a giveaway promotion for multiple printers, multiple winners, as well as some filament. I can't say much about the filament right now, but there's going to be opportunities for a handful of people to win, not just one. But
Right,
there's
it's not
also
just going to be one main winner. It's going to be a couple of winners. So
or a few,
they're all going to be good prizes. Trust me.
or a double few. So, oh yeah. Speaking of which, I did have that up, and before I really get that coffee, Mike, I don't know if you caught it on Facebook or not. I don't know if you go on it or not, but I did put the factory default UIs up for the 3DN GUI, the D Blue GUI, and the Skittles GUI. Come on, Google, quit fucking with me here. And I did do a teaser.
You yelling at me or something else?
Huh?
You yelling at me?
No, I'm screaming at Google. Google's just...
I'm like, I wasn't fucking with you, but okay.
No, my browser was just giving me some shit here. Oh, that was something else too. There was an update for me anyways on Google just the other day. And Chrome started burning up resources.
Oh,
like,
shit. Yeah, there's an update, and I haven't did it.
Don't,
Okay.
man.
I'll leave the little green arrow there for now.
There is something wrong with that update because, man, okay, I stream all the time, when I'm not actively doing stuff. I've got a laptop that I'm laying in front of, and I stream all the time. I got Netflix, I got Xfinity streaming, the whole shot. And I just do that in my downtime. And I have never, ever seen the screen refreshing until this update from Chrome. And even Facebook craps out. If I leave Facebook up 24/7 because of the work I'm doing. That's even been trashing out. Let me get these up on the screen for everybody.
Sorry, allergies are killing me today. Oh. That and a new cat. That's really helpful for me. Woohoo!
There we go. There's those other colors. And on that note, I'm really going to go get that coffee. I'll be right back. Yeah, Tracy, the factory firmware for the first three is already released, and it's on the Nexus in the resources section under 3DN releases. It's already up. For both,
you can go get it right now.
Yeah, for both the Genius and the Sidewinder, they're already up. These other three, you got to understand, it's not just three that I got to do. I've basically got to do 2 versions of each. And each icon set is about it's something like 97 or 93 or 98 icons. You know, so I got to do the icon changes for every single one of those, and it's not just swapping colors or anything like that. Each one's got to be dropped into the converter to convert it to a bin file. So that's
Nobody wants to hear your problems.
F you. I'm getting my coffee. I'll be back.
Just want the shit done, people, right? Just give me my UI. See, he does all this stuff after I upgrade. Now I got no use for it. I'm trying to talk him into doing the BTT, TFT 35 and 24 so I can put it on mine. Or my 2, rather. Don't tell me how you got there. Just give it to me, damn it. Hobo's got problems. Yeah, it just changes the interface, so it just makes it nice and pretty for your UI. It doesn't do anything spectacular on the non-updated firmware versions. It's the same, just different buttons. So you're not messing with the screen itself in the way of its own firmware or messing with the firmware on your motherboard side. It's just an update to how the screen looks. And the instructions are on there how to do it. So
Yep.
it's really easy. Except when it isn't.
Well, yeah, I explained it in the article itself, but there's also that video that we've been dropping on the Facebook groups for everybody that seems to have the issue.
I told him, I said, you got to do mine now. High CPU detected. What? I wonder why that would be. That's weird. What would be drawn? Scrolling. Get them doggies.
I'm just waiting for my coffee to heat up real quick, and I'm going to go get it. Yeah, it's right in the releases section there. There he is.
I'm just giving a play-by-play. Helps me pass the time.
Yeah, I'll have to put your mug on this screen before too long.
Doesn't matter. Thankfully, the cat stopped pestering me, so that's good. I got him a cat tree so he'd stop jumping on my head and on my chair. Oh.
Yeah, fortunately, I have enough of the printers. I can have the different UIs on each printer. So even though I hate the default menu that comes on the printers, the colorization that I did for the Skittles interface and everything like that, it made me like it. So that's kind of, when I approached making it and everything like that, I kind of did it how would I like it to look.
Right.
So I hope you guys enjoy it too.
Well, it's cool. I'd like to enjoy it, but I don't have a stock printer.
Well,
I don't have a printer I can use the updated firmware on either, unfortunately.
Yeah, if you get another one, you're gonna mod it though.
No, that was the whole idea of not modding it.
Gotcha.
I mean, I want to get a Genius just so I had a basic one. You can always use another printer. It's the way life is.
Right.
You want something done faster in 3D printing? Get another printer. That's the only way it works.
Okay.
I'm up to what? I'm up to 10K on my points.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them away from him pretty soon though.
What? I'm taking my points away.
On our leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking away my points.
Well, spend them on something. Go to
I don't want to
the
spend them.
go to the
I just
merch
wanna-
store.
I just want to collect them.
Well, you're not showing up on the leaderboard, are you?
I don't know. I never looked at the leaderboard.
Yeah, there's a leaderboard on the channel. Okay, I'm hearing my coffee beeping. I'll be right back after I get that.
I just want to be top dog. That's all. I'd show off some of my resin printing, but that's all on. Am I going to put the mandatory BL Touch on the Genius? I actually have one. I actually have a BL Touch. You're on YouTube, so you're not seeing the points from Twitch. Our Twitch stream has points for monitoring the show, and it kind of gives you like a point total. I might put the BL Touch on. I'm not, and guys get mad at me. I had a guy get mad at me last night on Discord, early this morning, and somebody had asked if it's necessary to use a BL Touch on the X1. All I said to the guy was, no, it's not necessary. You can use mesh bed leveling, and it's not a necessity. It really isn't. I don't need it. In fact, I think you get better printing ability staying manual longer than using. What's up, Deleuze? Or is it, I don't even know how to say it. Bellum? How's it going? But yeah, and he took his ball and went home. I wasn't even arguing. Somebody else had asked the question, and he got upset that I said something about not needing the BL Touch. And you don't need it. It's not a necessity. A lot of people that are having leveling issues think that's going to solve your problem, and it's not going to solve all your problems.
Nope.
I'm sorry, it's just not going to. Sometimes it creates bigger problems.
Yeah.
If you don't like math and you don't like having to figure out offsets and things like that, you're not going to like trying to set up a BL Touch.
Well, if you're
Go ahead.
experienced, okay, with the things that you have to do to set it up, and you want it, there's nothing wrong with that. My take on it is if the printer doesn't come with it, okay, there are alternatives. Okay, you can do it, and in the early days, before the ABL sensors really got prominent, you know, Prusa always had their, and they called it mesh bed leveling too. They had the Pinda probes and everything. That's what turned me on to the system. And with Marlin 116, I think, it might have even been earlier. It's Foggy 116.
Wasn't it, I want to say it was the 1.4, wasn't it?
It put it this way, it had, when it got implemented, I mean, that was the predecessor to the auto bed level sensors.
Right.
The limitations that we were starting to reach, my understanding was the memory limitations of storing the mesh. You know, again, these are 8-bit boards. Okay, and people have already asked me, hey, Earl, why don't you do a 12 point or a 16 point? You know, and it's really not necessary unless I could see actually going up to 12 or 16 if you've got like a 500 by 500 bed. Okay, but realistically, folks, if you've got, and I've got a couple of them here, if you've got printers with that big of beds on them and they're not flat to begin with, take those fuckers off and get a machined aluminum plate that is flat.
But you're still, even at that distance, you're still going to be questionable on level anyways. You have to learn how to work around it. I'm sorry, but once you start getting to that size bed, you're not going to get something perfectly flat.
And you're also going to be waiting a month and a half for your fucking prints to finish. Which again is stupidity. I mean, there's a point where we're no longer spending reasonable amounts of time to get a return off of some of this stuff. If you got to print that big, you really should be using like, you know, 0.8 or 1.0 nozzles and things like that. And then the prints just look like shit.
Yeah.
So you really got to make something.
I mean, I like having a big bed to spread out my stuff. Not so much that I need to use the whole bed, but if you're doing like a large order for somebody,
yeah, production run
and multiple pieces, the big bed's nice.
Yeah, production. That's all when
you start switching to a big fat nozzle and trying to crank speed, and then the prints just turn out like crap. It's like, why even bother printing it? You might as well go out to the garage, cut a couple pieces of wood up to do what you want to do.
Yeah, that would even piss Clint Eastwood off. So,
and then all the issues on Facebook.
Get off of my
all these
print.
Guys that have leveling problems and that are new, that get told to install the BL Touch, and they can barely turn the printer on.
Yeah.
And I'm not being mean, because it's a lot to grasp when you first get into it. And a lot of guys don't remember that. There's a lot of different things going on that you need to worry about before you even start talking about playing with adding an auto bed level. If it comes with the printer, I have no problem at all with it. It's when you're trying to add it on in the process of trying to learn how to print is where I get mad at these guys telling people to get a BL Touch every time they have a leveling problem. Oh, get a BL Touch. It's not going to magically solve it anyway. If you set up the BL Touch wrong, you're going to have a weird mesh anyways, and it's not going to print right. My water bedding level. Right?
Yeah.
That's why it has sides, so when it's unlevel, it still holds the water.
Hey, Make It Out of Wood, thanks for showing up, man.
Take care, man.
Appreciate you showing up. Well, you know, when back in December, okay, for all you got, you know, the firmware that I put out there, I didn't want to. Okay, because I haven't needed it. I haven't needed any of the advanced features in the firmware on the printers here, and that's over
I'm
a half.
gonna tell you flat out, I don't use mesh bed leveling half the time for anything.
I haven't had to on most of the ones here.
So I have a hard time answering those questions a lot of times when I ask them because I don't use it.
The only ones that has benefited from it, realistically, it's like the two that are on the lab cam right there that I have up all the time. Those got the original glass beds, and those are near perfectly flat. Okay, don't need it.
I still love those glass beds. I wish they'd have kept them.
Well, but those glass beds got PEI on them too, so yeah. And it's
I know, but I didn't originally, and I still love that glass bed. I didn't have a lot of problems with it.
It's the aesthetics of the logo too. The logo on those just looks awesome. That's what turned me on.
You know me in aesthetics. You've seen my printers.
Yep.
In fact, I posted my last one where all my covers are done.
Well,
all my resin covers that are clear. Yeah, the chrome is just gorgeous. I mean, that when I first saw that printer, when Artillery first put it up, the bed made me want the printer more than anything. Just the way the bed looked was like, I need that in my house.
Well, when I was going to put the firmware out, the reason I kind of, it's like, okay, why has nobody put this in the firmware ever? You know, there's been a couple of printers out there that had something similar put
I
in.
can tell you why they don't. I
Okay.
understand why they don't.
Oh,
Because
but-
anybody that's new is not going to grasp it.
Okay.
And they're going to have 5 tons of support tickets and calls and problems. So they cut all that stuff out
Then I must
to
ask,
avoid it.
why can my 10-year-old do it?
Because he's your 10-year-old.
No, that's, well, yes, he's my 10-year-old. Oh God, wife would
Because,
shoot
no,
me
Earl,
for.
it's because he's your 10-year-old, okay?
No,
I honestly, if I handed my college daughter a printer, I wouldn't expect the same outcome. I'm gonna tell you flat out. And
My-
she's not a dummy.
no, my logic is this.
But she doesn't use the technology.
My kid really doesn't either. He's new to it. He
But-
got his first printer last year.
But he's 10, and it interests him.
He's 10,
It's
and
going to make it that much more easier for him to do something because he's going to actually sit and listen to it more than you or I would as an adult who are like, I just want to get it printing.
what it is he read the instructions. See, I wasn't available. I was sick. This was just last week. Okay, and I was sick, and he was impatient. You know, being a 10-year-old. You know.
Yep.
So he just went to the instructions and he followed them verbatim.
Right.
And that's what I'm pointing out is us adults, we get lazy, we cut corners, we have shit,
Dude,
we have
Instructions?
we have pet G sticking to our brand new spanking new PEI sheets. Okay, we get
Don't start
lazy.
me on that.
I had to dig.
I thought I did something, and I
Was doing 6 different prints.
Yeah, so the case point there is, you know, people think I'm stabbing at them because it's like, oh, well, you're 10-year-old. And it's like, no, I'm trying to point out the logic that because he doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't vary or he doesn't interject his own reverse engineering into the process. He follows the instructions from beginning to end. Okay, and that's all he does.
Right.
You know, he still had the same questions afterward. He's like, you know, Dad, how do I know it worked? See, because he's not here with me. He's in Hawaii right now.
Right.
So I wasn't there to stand over his shoulder. Okay.
I'm just saying that he isn't low on the gene pool either. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm actually complimenting you.
Oh, I know. No, I was just trying to avoid rubbing some of the people out there that might be watching the wrong way. That might be some
Take
of
care,
those.
John.
Yeah, take it easy, John. One of the people that, you know, for some reason just, okay, one of the mistakes that people are commonly making with it is they go ahead and they run it, or they begin doing it before doing a factory reset after flashing the firmware.
Yep.
And prior to that, some of these people already played with baby stepping.
Yep.
Or they start messing with the baby stepping after they, and this is really something I should update in the instructions, okay?
If he's in the army at 10, Grumpy, I have to question that one.
No, no, he's not going to be a military brat. I hope not. So, Gandalf has been on some really strange work hours lately too. And when I went out for coffee over there, I was seeing he just got up a little while ago. So I wasn't going to try dragging him into the stream.
he's still rubbing sleep out of his eyes.
Yeah.
Well, thank him for his service.
Yeah, he's on Oahu, right? Right, Grump? Yeah, well, case point, the whole when I put the mesh bed leveling in, I didn't think it was going to be as controversial because to me it was just something that was missing. And people's like, oh, you hate the sensors and everything and like that, and I don't hate the sensors themselves.
I do.
I hate the fact that most people aren't, and I use this word loosely, competent enough to install them. Okay, and that's why I said if the printers are designed and come with them on them already, great. It's already there.
I use one on my Delta.
We wouldn't be having this conversation, but the half-ass things that are going on out there. Okay, snip these wires, solder this here. All it does for me in support, and all it does for everybody on the artillery side in China, is create a lot more messages of why isn't this working now?
Right.
Okay.
Well, that and the firmware options on it aren't that great either. That's the other problem that I look at, because they want to throw it in the Marlin 2 whatever version we're on now.
Yeah.
And that creates other problems. And even I'm not against Marlin 2.0. I am against it on the artillery. I've installed it on other things, and then I wind up with TMC connection errors or other things because there's still glitches in it that you got to figure out what's wrong.
I'm against Marlin 2, and that's only because it's so young right now.
It's still new, and there's going to be bugs. So,
and for the people that are able to accept,
what's up, Sergeant Shadow Fox? How you doing?
For the people that are able to deal with those issues that are going to come up, because you got to understand, newer, better. Well, just like Cura or Prusa or any of the other slicers or any other software for that matter, when you get that little update window that pops up, 99% of y'all click OK. Okay, and what ends up happening? Okay. With Marlin, it's the same shit. There's been a long list of things that have been wrong, and this what is it, 2053 right now that they're on? I haven't looked at it in a few days.
Yeah, it's like 2053. I just had a problem with it.
Yeah, there's a stack of BL Touch bullshit going on with it. Okay.
Well, I don't even have a BL Touch on this one, and I'm having trouble with the TMC drivers.
I'm just targeting what we're talking about with regards to Marlin and everything, and the stuff that's blatantly sticking out with me. There's BL Touch shit going on. There's TMC 2209 driver shit going on with it. Right. And there's even stuttering going on with our the TMC drivers that are on the artilleries, because they're not true TMC 2100s, they're clones.
Right. They're AT 2100s.
Well, I think it's either 2052 or whatever on through the current one, there's been this XY stuttering issue popping up. Okay, and that's why, I warn people, it's like, okay, if you know what you're doing, fine, I'm not saying, but keep in mind that it's young. There's going to be crap cropping up from version to version. One of the earlier versions, I think it was 202, 201 or 202, had a Z motor issue that was shutting off one of your Z motors in the dual Z motor setups like we have on our artilleries. Okay.
Right.
Well, I read the GitHub every chance I get, at least once or twice a week, just to keep up with what's going on it, so I can answer questions about it, and plus a couple of the machines I've got it on here. Not artilleries, by the way.
I hope that's a trick of light.
What's that?
I'm watching something on a print. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's just a trick of light. I was like, no. I just fixed you. No.
Well, 69 BIOS. Okay, I'm working with Marlin 2 here on some of the machines, you know, I've got 32-bit board machines here and everything that I'm actively playing with Marlin 2 on. I'm, you know, keeping up with it when I can. It's not something I do every day. But all of the people that are rolling into the forums, the groups, knew, well, you know, oh, okay, you know, they're being told, well, you know, your bed issues and everything like that, get a BL Touch. And
Yeah.
I'm not supporting it. I won't put it in Marlin 1.9, okay, 1.19. Okay, there's other people that have. The reason it prompted me to post a whole fucking article on why I'm not touching Marlin 2 for a while. It's still too young. And because from version to version, there's going to be, you know, somebody who, this is their first 3D printer. They believed everybody, they put the new Marlin on it, they got the BL Touch and they got it all running. A new version of Marlin comes out that has, like, say for example in the 2053 version, it's got the BL Touch crap that's going on with it. All of a sudden their printer stops working again. And do they usually find out themselves, or, you know, do they kind of take the time to try to figure out what's going on? No, usually their first inclination...
You mean actually search something and look it up?
Well, their first inclination is to go to support.
Right.
Okay. Or they'll get somebody on the groups that, you know, just doesn't, it's not their printer, they're not there with it actively. They'll, oh, it must be hardware. You know, and all it takes is one person to say something like that. And the person, without even realizing, you know, they updated their firmware, or they put a firmware on there that someone else has released, you know, and they're saying, oh, it's working great, it's working this and that and the other thing, without fucking testing it. Okay, and all of a sudden their printer's not working and they don't know any better. Those are the people that, I don't know, my wife says, you know, I try to protect everybody. And it's like maybe that has a little bit to do with it. And I thought I was, you know, doing everybody a favor by putting mesh bed leveling in on the refined Marlin 119 with all the other features that we want. And every once in a while, you know, depending on the conversation in the groups and things like that, when it starts getting a little heavy and everything like that, it's just like, you know, why did I do this? I didn't have to.
Right.
I didn't have to release, I didn't have to tell anybody that I'm, you know, printing happily and using it happily and everything, but... Oh, wow. It's now transition time for coffee, everybody. You have your wintertime temperatures and minutes that you can nuke your coffee in the microwave for, and then you've got your summertime temperatures. At about 50 degrees hotter in my coffee than was necessary. I'm going to recap the announcement, the artillery big announcement here in just a minute here. I got to go throw an ice cube in my coffee. I'll be right back. Okay, folks, instead of turning this into a evening-long rant fest about BL Touch and Marlin and everything like that, that seems to happen just about every week or every other week here. New UIs. Do you guys have any ideas for things you'd like to see for new UIs? I've got a couple in mind, but I'm going to start plugging the user base out there to see if there's something that you might like to see. My wife made the suggestion too. She goes, why don't you do a video and show people the software that you use and release blank templates so people can make their own. You guys think you'd like something like that?
What I miss?
Throw the leaderboard up for you guys real quick here.
What were you asking him?
No, I was. My wife made a suggestion last week about maybe putting together a video and the software and a blank template set with most of the hard work done. If people wanted to make their own icon sets.
Oh.
There's about 100. There's about 100 buttons you got to deal with, you know. And if you're crazy like me and you ain't got nothing to do for a whole day,
That ever happen? Sorry, my eyes are like really watering. Oh my god, allergies are killing me.
Yeah, Tracy, I'll tell you. You know, for me, because I do graphics all the time, the graphics part is easy. All right, for me. The thing that is just a pain in the ass, no matter who you're going to be, is you have to basically convert every image individually and then plug it into the system as a bin file.
Yeah.
So
it's a little complicated.
Like Taz accused me of earlier of bitching and moaning and pissing and whining. Each one of these icon sets, okay, there's one for each printer, and each one of those has to be done 100 times. So there's now the advanced firmware, that's 100, the stock firmware, that's 100, and then times 2 printers. Now add that times 3 UIs and the 3 that I just showed everybody that I haven't released yet. Yeah. I think the middle cactus will work out fine for you.
You know, back in my day, we walked uphill both ways.
Let's see what's going on the leaderboard here.
With no shoes. And 6 feet of snow.
There we go. We got a number of new followers. For anybody that is new to the stream, if you haven't done so, subscribe, like, and follow the channels. It helps the channels out, and it'll also get you notifications. Twitch, it'll notify you automatically, or should if you just follow. YouTube, you still got to do that subscribe button and the notification, especially for the announcement. We are hoping to launch the artillery giveaway on Monday. Thanks for the follow there.
There's Curly. There we go.
We're hoping to launch the giveaway on Monday, June 1st. I'll be announcing it on social media as well as on the 3D Nexus website. and we're planning on doing a stream for the launch as well. What we're going to be doing is giving away printers, not just one, but multiples. There's going to be a double few of people that are going to be winning for the printers, and there's going to be a stack of filament given out too. There may be a few more things added to it. We're still working that stuff out. After I'm done with the stream tonight, it is 12:30 p.m. in China, which means I'll probably be having a meeting in about 2 hours or less with them. So that's why we're going to be cutting the stream short here in just a short amount of time. I'd like to go into after hours so we can get rowdy and piss a few people off, but that's not going to happen tonight. We'll be back on our normal full-blown schedule during the week. So, in a nutshell, Monday there's going to be the formal launch, if everything goes as planned, of the artillery promotion, giving away some printers and stuff like that. It's going to be kind of fun because there's going to be some neat things you guys are going to do to increase the likelihood and the chances of winning. Stay tuned for that. I'm not giving out any more details than that right now. So pass it along, let everybody else know. I'll be updating the Nexus with an article, maybe even before Monday, to bring other people up to speed. And then again, if everything goes as planned and we get the go-ahead, we're going to be launching Monday. So the thing that's holding it up right now is we're just working out a few of the minor details, as well as making sure all of the ducks are in a row with legalities and things like that. So that's that. Plus 100 more for Taz. What did I miss there? I'm just going backwards in the chat here. Oh, 100 bin files, yeah. Well, you know, anybody can go right out right now and get the TFT software for MKS. It's on their GitHub. It's just the thing that you're not going to be thrilled about finding out is that every image that you do, you have to load, copy, and then resave. So, and doing it for the stock firmware is easy, you know, just change the icons. But if you're going to do it for the advanced firmware, that isn't done, okay, if you take our advanced firmware that I released, you know, you're more than welcome to do that. That's why I included the source. Go ahead and do it. You know, you don't even have to change anything in the actual firmware itself. You can just change the icon sets. But if you're looking to do it yourself, you know, and say write your own firmware or something like that, and you know, do that, that's a whole nother thing that you got to take into consideration. And I'll do a video on the things that need to be changed for the artilleries, but that's kind of a back burner thing. For those of you out there that can, you know, figure out the easy part of just, hey, all I want to do is change the icons, or I want to make my own icons, that's easy. You know, I can put that together like in a day. So I'll put my little soon trademark symbol right after that. Uh, 69 BIOS, yes. The drawing contest will be available for anybody in the world as long as it is legal in your country or the place you live.
If you're allowed to win contests, you could win it.
Yes.
See, I simplify things.
Void where prohibited. You know, so if there's a issue with your country allowing it, and now that's gonna bring up some other points and things like that. One of the things that artillery won't be responsible for is in the
fees.
Yeah, if you got like import fees and VATs and crap like that, they're not going to be responsible for that. So, but that's true for most giveaways that are going on out there. You may get lucky, okay, in
What
most.
website you talking about there, James?
Oh, that's on the Nexus. I recognize the message.
Oh, okay.
James, you either tried logging in too many times with the wrong password, or your account hasn't been. Yeah, James, I'm on it. Give me a second here.
Sorry, I wasn't sure what you're talking about, James. I didn't recognize the message.
Yeah, that's my custom message. It tells me what it is. So,
We're just talking about the upcoming giveaway, which is pretty exciting.
yeah, you can recap it, Taz, while I'm looking at his account and straighten it out.
It's going to be for a few printers, so there's going to be multiple winners.
Or a double few.
Well, I was trying to keep myself under the radar of what I know.
Right.
I didn't want to get specific on what I do know.
Well, I'm not being specific either. I just said, or a double few.
Right. Also, filament as well, which is a rare commodity lately. No problem, James. Like I said, I'm going to make him fix it for you live. That's what I do. I sidetrack Earl. That's my job. Well, yeah, hopefully we're going to announce it June 1st. All the details. So.
Well, actually, we're hoping to launch it Monday.
Right.
So.
Well, all the details would be the launch.
Yes.
Stop correcting me. You know I'm right. Just stop correcting me. Oh, anyhow. I know, right?
That's from constantly multitasking.
I reel him in. He gets a little snarky, but I reel him in. We do have some more images on user show off too when you get a chance.
Okay. Yeah, nobody's seen me Samuel L. Jackson anybody yet, so we're good.
I have no fear, so it's okay.
Well, I'd love to just sit and be a participant in a stream. I usually got 40 fucking buttons I got to push through the damn stream just to keep things rolling the right way. That's why I want a damn intern in here in the studio for doing the shows. Okay, and last but not least,
Have a good night, Mike. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Mike C. Yep, thanks for showing up.
Explain what very hot is in the way of, do you actually have an idea of temperature, or you're just saying it appears to be hot? There's a couple of things it could be.
I just want to interject before you jump into that. Your account should be fine on the Nexus, brother. I saw in there, yeah, it was a login failure. Might have been a wrong password you typed in or something like that. It should be fine now. And go ahead.
So, such an ass. That was a weird one.
Yeah, that's almost like borderline moist. That should
Uncomfortable. Red flagged.
I was just gonna say, man, the bot is like on top of it tonight. One of these times not during the regular stream, but during after hours.
They run slightly warm. That usually isn't a problem. If you're seeing a problem into your filament where you're getting like heat creep or that kind of thing, that's when it's a real big issue. A couple of things could be going on. Possibility from the factory, it got too much VREV and the stepper is up above 1 volt. You'd have to manually check that by opening the printer up and actually checking the stepper driver itself, which is kind of a in-depth way of doing it. A big explanation. But if you're not getting heat creep and it's not affecting your printing or extruding at all, I wouldn't really worry about it.
That's a rarity that you got to mess with the VREF. And now I'm not going to count refurbs. I'm going to tell you right now, I've already dealt with a handful of refurbs from other places.
And people are playing with the VREVs.
People have messed with the VREFs, and the refurbishers aren't checking that stuff. So,
which you should be checking.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that one in there because I actually encountered that last week.
But they tend to run hot, so if they run around. What are they rated to? Like they're rated to like 80 C, I want to say. So
yeah, they're up there.
Anything below that, it's in operation range. Now, if it's starting to give you heat creep and causing extrusion problems, you need to look into it. But if it's just running hot, it should be fine because all the steppers should be set to 1 volt across the board on all your axes. Some people tend to boost them up. I don't agree with it. I actually dropped mine down, but that's a little more detailed than most people need to go.
Yeah, and
that's a personal preference, not a necessity. So
you can also go too low with those numbers and start missing steps and things like that.
So, no, I agree. Like I said, but I have a personal preference of how I like to set them up. So
that's a whole discussion on its own. Well, funny enough, just finishing up a previous thing that doing for after hours. We should do an after hours of all the words that we want to enter into the filter. That way, in the future, all the words that people are going to come up with and everything like that are.
I think it's more fun the way it is.
Yeah. Because
that way you can block it if you want.
Well, I'm saying it's like Deadpool, It's like, I mean, we can say anything we want, Like I said, this is a mature rated channel and everything like that. So I can say, well, he was being a cock gobbler, okay? So
a douche nozzle?
Yeah, or whatever, but...
It fits into 3D printing in my mind. He's being a douche nozzle.
Same thing with the one I used. I can actually apply that to about 3 different scenarios earlier this week. So, anyways.
And then the other thing you might want to check just to make sure is that your fan's the right direction on your hot end. Because I've seen a couple where they're reversed and put the wrong way. So the easiest way I could say it to you without showing you an actual picture is the actual fan blades themselves you should be able to see facing out towards the grill. If it's facing in where the fan is, the whole fan itself is facing towards the heat sink, it's wrong. Your case should be backed up against the heat sink. So it's drawing it in. Yes, you're going to be a problem with the SSR with the PSU
Yeah.
versus the PSU. The bed is mains, so it's required to have 220 to operate properly. If you have a 220, it's just not going to work. There's not going to be enough juice going through on it.
Right.
And someone told I saw somewhere where someone told someone, oh, just switch the power supply over. It's like, no, it's not going to make any difference.
No, there's more.
And you don't want to do opposite either, because that'll cause a problem too. So if you're in 220 with a 110, don't even plug it in.
Yeah, Twitch is getting ready to roll out for some of us content creators. My understanding, they're getting ready to roll out the new front page channel pages for us live. If that's coming to pass or not, and I don't know how that affects the Twitch app, but you're not the first one that has mentioned that.
You are correct. You can't just switch out the PSU. You have to switch out the SSR as well.
Yep.
I want to say you actually have to switch out the whole bed, because there's actually a fuse that's on the bed itself that you could possibly pop as well. So there's no switching that around and making it work right without replacing a whole bunch of stuff.
You know, and in that case, depending on where he's at, artillery might have a closer, like if you're in the States, okay, I'm not saying that this is how we'd handle it, but if it's in the States, it might be just as simple as, you know, them doing a call tag and shipping the printer out and sending a different one. Realistically, instead of even contemplating going through the hassle of changing all that stuff over, I'd ask for a new printer.
Yep.
You
I
know,
wouldn't even mess with it, because you're talking about something that could go way wrong really fast.
I was wondering how that would work, the Fire Stick. It's all those chicks that are blowing bongs, you know, live streaming on a Friday night. That's why Twitch is gagging right now. Okay, one more time.
It'd probably be easier to run a 220 line than it would be to try and reverse engineer the printer. Let's put it that way. I mean, realistically, I got a 220 line for my hot water heater in my house. I got a tankless system that needs 220, and rather than trying to reverse engineer it, I just ran 2 110 lines. It's just a lot easier than trying to figure out how to make the components work without frying them.
Yeah, I'm checking our connection and everything like that through Twitch and everything, and we're good sending to Twitch. It's what's coming out of Twitch.
Well, if you want to collect your points, you could always just open a second browser and pause the live feed on Twitch and still collect your points for being in chat. That's an option.
Oh, telling people how to hack.
Well, I shouldn't have to tell him how to hack, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of his monikers, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seen the post and I responded to that guy. Because, like I said, there's also a fuse on the actual bed itself, which I think is rated either 110 or 220, which that has to be switched too, or else you're going to let the blue genie escape, which will not be nice. Don't ask me how I know. I've never done anything like that. I've had a couple humps on Twitch myself, so, and I'm pretty close to the servers in Chicago, so I don't know
It's lagging on our other system. It's lagging on our other system. It's
It might be from Twitch's stream
It is.
because too many people are using it.
Yeah. Well, folks, we are at that 2.5 hour mark, and that's about where I wanted to cut it for tonight. We're not going to do it after hours tonight because my throat's still trashed from earlier this week. Once again, I'm just going to recap. We are hoping to launch the artillery promotion / giveaway Monday, June 1st. We'll be doing a stream on it. And I'll also be announcing it on the various social media areas. So stay tuned with that. If you are not subscribed, if you haven't liked or followed the channel, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, do so to get those notifications. It also helps the channel out. And we'll go from there. Hopefully covered enough for everybody tonight. It's not our normal 4.5 or 5 hour Friday night shindig that we normally have going on. And in the near future, Roxas, I do have information on that, but I can't say too much about it right now. So there's another little tidbit. So, but that's all I can give you. Soon. And there's a little trademark that I'm well known for in there. Soon you'll be hearing something about that too. And we'll go from there. So, I can't think of anything else. It was fun having you guys in tonight. We'll go from there. Okay, everybody. Daz, you got
Thanks for
anything
watching,
else?
guys. See ya.
You don't want to give me any shit before we sign off?
No, I'll give it to you later.
All right. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Take care, guys.